I'm Beth. Standing behind the counter of my newly opened cafe, I watch the warm glow of the lamps illuminate the cozy space. It's filled with the sound of soft chatter and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. As I look around, memories flood back, taking me on a journey through the trials and tribulations that led me to this moment. It all started at a small bakery on the outskirts of town. I had been working there for 15 years, a fact commemorated by a simple cake with the number 15 piped across the top. The applause from my co-workers was warm, but I was never one to seek attention. I was content with the rhythm of the early mornings, the kneading of dough, and the way my work could bring a little joy to others' days. My mind often drifted back to my graduation day. I was at the top of my class, with offers from big companies in far-off cities. But I decided to return to my hometown. My mother was disappointed, constantly reminding me of my wasted potential. She used tears, headaches, and silence as weapons to try and change my mind. However, my father's calm words and my grandparents' unwavering support gave me the strength to follow my heart. In the bakery, I started at the bottom, learning the ropes and cleaning the surfaces. Over time, I earned the trust and respect of my colleagues. I moved up the ranks, becoming a leader, training others, and handling conflicts with grace.
Danny met Ethan.
He was ambitious, always talking about his career plans and future promotions. He seemed to admire my stability, and we got married. Our marriage quickly fell into a routine. I took care of the domestic details while he focused on his work. We rarely talked about having children, as he always found an excuse to postpone the conversation. But then, my body started to change. I felt tired, dizzy, and my focus began to slip. I tried to ignore the symptoms, but they became harder to dismiss. One day, I decided to see a doctor. The news was devastating. I was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive blood cancer with limited treatment options and a very unfavorable prognosis. I called my mother first. She came to the hospital, trying to offer comfort, but I could tell she was as scared as I was. Then I called Ethan. When he arrived, he was cold and calculating. He said he wasn't prepared to be married to a sick person, that he had worked too hard to build his life. He removed his wedding ring and said he'd wait for me to die to simplify the legal process. It was a betrayal that felt like a quiet collapse inside me. In the hospital, I met an older woman named Grace. She was different from others. She didn't offer pity or empty platitudes. Instead, she asked simple questions about my work. I learned that she had been a head chef for over 20 years. She started teaching me about cooking, not just the techniques, but the intention behind it. Her lessons were a breath of fresh air in the hospital, and I found myself learning and waking up again. Grace noticed that I didn't seem like a terminal patient. She contacted an old acquaintance, a hematologist at a specialized oncology center. After a comprehensive second evaluation, I was told that the original diagnosis was incorrect. I had a rare viral condition that mimicked the symptoms of blood cancer, and it was treatable. When I was discharged, I went to my parents' home. I learned that Ethan had told my employer I was terminally ill, and my job at the bakery was gone. My belongings were removed from our apartment, and the lease was still in his name. I chose to stay silent, realizing that the life I had known was over. During my recovery, I started taking short walks. One day, in the park, I heard a puppy yelping. A man named Leo was trying to free it from the bushes. We worked together to rescue the puppy. Leo was a kind-hearted man who ran a small tech startup. He invited me to cook for his team, and I agreed. Meanwhile, Ethan was with his new partner, Lily. He saw me in the park, healthy and happy, and his jealousy got the better of him. He assumed I had money and started to scheme. Lily, on the other hand, had been gathering evidence of his financial irregularities. When she found out she was pregnant, Ethan's reaction was cold. He suggested termination, and their relationship started to fall apart. I continued to rebuild my life. I volunteered at a shelter kitchen, where I met Samuel, Grace's son. He was quiet and responsible, taking care of his young daughter. His presence was a stark contrast to Ethan's selfishness. Grace had mentioned a hidden cache in her old apartment. One day, Leo, Samuel, and I went to search for it. After hours of searching, we found a bundle behind a wall panel. Inside were patent documents, handwritten notes, and a recipe, proving that Grace's ex-husband had stolen her work. With Leo's help, we got her rights restored, and she received financial compensation. The idea of opening a cafe came up. Grace, Leo, and I worked together to make it a reality. The cafe reflected all of us, with a menu that balanced my precision and Grace's depth. The atmosphere was warm and inviting. One evening, after the cafe closed, Leo asked me to marry him. There were no grand speeches, just a simple question. I said yes, without hesitation. Our wedding was small and intimate, with friends and family around. As I stand here in the cafe, I realize that I've come a long way. I've survived not just illness, but also the betrayal of someone I once trusted. I've found freedom and a new sense of purpose. I've learned that dignity comes from choosing myself, and silence can be a powerful form of resistance. The future is bright, and I'm ready to embrace it. Looking back, I'm grateful for every experience, even the painful ones. They've shaped me into the person I am today, and I know that the path I've chosen is the right one. I've built a life based on truth, care, and the courage to face challenges head on. And as I watch the customers enjoying their coffee and pastries, I know that this is where I belong.